Well, first up, Queensland debate has been trending on Twitter as Campbell Newman and Anastasia Palaszczuk make their final pitch to voters ahead of tomorrow's poll. According to Queensland University of Technology's Election Social Index, the LNP continues to generate more chatter online at close to 55% compared to the ALP on almost 40%. That's based on more than 250,000 Twitter and Instagram posts. As for the leaders of the major parties, Campbell Newman accounts for more of the conversation, 79% compared to Anastasia Palaszczuk on 21%. Just after the debate, Ashgrove was the most prominent hashtag, followed by Green 15. Mr Newman has been campaigning hard on the economy, while Labor has been ramming home its anti-privatisation message.
My team has a strong plan. It's the people's plan. We have a plan to lease assets so we can get the proceeds in to deal with debt, to invest in infrastructure, 25,000 jobs in $8.6 billion worth of economic building infrastructure, and actually take Queensland forward.
Time is running out. There is 1 day left to stop the sale of our assets. Tomorrow is the last chance that Queenslanders have to make sure that we hold on to our assets now and for future generations. Once our assets are gone, they are gone forever. That's it, no more.
Well, as Queensland votes, you can track where sausage sizzles and cake stalls are being held. More than 100 places feature on the Snag Vote State map. You'll find it at electionsausagessizzle.com.au. The Prime Minister has rejected talk of a possible leadership change after his decision to award Prince Philip a knighthood. Labor is keeping up the pressure on that front. It shared this graphic on Facebook indicating Mr Abbott is deciding who to knight. He was in Colac in Victoria shouting a few drinks at a pub. The Prime Minister says he's acknowledged the backlash and it's time to move on.
I'm sure if I went into the pub to talk about it, they'd say it was a stuff-up. I'd take that on the chin and then we'd move on and discuss other subjects, and that's exactly what I propose to do today.
When it comes to questions about his future, Mr Abbott says the strength of the coalition can be attributed to his performance.
One of the reasons why so many members of the team are able to perform so well is because they've got a very good captain. It takes a good captain to help all the players of a team to excel.
Kogan, the company known for cheap TVs, has launched a new online service targeting supermarkets. It says it wants to disrupt the near 80% market share held by Coles and Woolworths with its new offering. Kogan Pantry will sell non-perishable food and household goods much cheaper compared to major chains. It says it can do that by cutting out the middleman. In the build-up to the Super Bowl in the US, air regulators are sending a message to spectators. The Federal Aviation Administration has released this video reminding people the stadium is a no-drone zone.
Don't spoil the game. Leave your drone at home.
The Seattle Seahawks take on the New England Patriots on Monday, our time.
Keep it a no-drone zone.
Well, it's considered one of the world's most recognised landmarks, but it appears LA residents have had enough of Hollywood sign seekers. People are now using technology to find the best spot to take a selfie.
There we go. We kind of just Googled it. We tried to pick the shortest one.
I went online first and I wanted to see hiking trails that lead to the Hollywood sign, and there was somebody's blog mentioning to come up this way.
The sign was erected in 1923 to promote a real estate development below. Residents say they now want their privacy.
They think this is a Disneyland type experience where they get into a parking lot, there's refreshments, there's toilet facilities. I don't know what they think.
Now in this day and age, the biggest change in the world is not the sign itself, but GPS and Mr. and Mrs. Google. And they get people up those streets that no one ever went up before.
The mystery man who cleared snow from the finish line of the Boston Marathon during a blizzard says he did it for his love of the event. This image was widely shared and it inspired a hashtag, Who Shoveled the Finish Line. He was identified as local bartender Chris Laudani. Chris has reacted on Facebook to thank everyone for their kind words. He adds, "It's truly an honour to be part of this, but do remember this has nothing to do with me." He writes, "I am in a small part in a giant, constantly spinning cog that makes this city and our marathon so great." Here's a selection of terms being searched on Google across Australia at the moment. Now to some other items that have been generating interest online. Now, we saw there one of the tweets relating to the Australian's obituary for Colleen McCulloch after it described her as overweight. Social media users are responding with the hashtag #MyAusObituary. In a selection of posts, Reese Muldoon writes, "Close friend of Kevin Rudd. This was the least of his faults. Jane Caro had this, short and dumpy with an extra chin. She nevertheless wrote books, novels and articles and was occasionally allowed to appear on telly." And finally from cartoonist Kathy Wilcox, "She was too female for a cartoonist." This week we brought you Barack Obama in a mashup to Uptown Funk. Now a teacher is going viral for his effort. Scott Pankey decided to give his students in Dallas a task to create a video set to the Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars hit. This 5-minute clip is the result. The students had 3 weeks to put it all together. Their project is getting worldwide attention. The clip has had more than 7.5 million views in less than 5 days.